the stream is live. In the center of that picture, the picture, I've got a bunch of information. It still says, oh, we've moved to Mondays. And so we are truly, truly live right now. And this is a double privilege for me because the person who makes this show at all possible, I cannot do it. I cannot even do it badly. I can't. I don't know how to put this show on or to even get the correct StreamYard account or whatever. Said, well, since illness has prevented another 2 weeks in a row, and it wasn't the illness of the people. So my show is not making my guests sick. They've signed up and then they're like, ugh! No. Each time it's been a family member that needs them. And so the scheduled people and what they wanted to share is going to have to be at another time. And you, okay, so this is my husband, Scott. If you may never have met him before on screen.
No.
Yeah, because he's usually behind the scenes.
That's one of the reasons why I'm so impressed with Christine, because the few times that I have been fortunate enough to catch her show, she's always mentioned your involvement. And I guess you're married quite a long. I'm married 53 years.
Yes, we're coming up on 41.
Yeah, we're creeping up.
Yeah, so that's impressive. And to be working together and staying together and sharing responsibilities and everything, it's not easy, and it takes a lot. So I honor you both for what you have to have put in through all of these years and what you're looking forward to keeping on.
Well, thank you.
Helping others. I feel it very sincerely. I wouldn't have said yes to anyone else like that. I mean, really.
It really was. Because I drove people this morning as part of my volunteer work, I wasn't able to start asking people until I got back home. And here you are, who, Cindy, you came in and made more than a handful of comments that were really on point and encouraging for Lori and Jeff.
I'm meeting with
last
Lori.
Monday.
Yeah, I'm meeting with Lori. It's on my calendar. A couple days from now. I have a bunch of. All of a sudden, do you know Elizabeth Miller? Have you ever had Elizabeth Miller on your show?
Yes.
She just posted,
the happy, healthy caregiver.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was introduced to me quite a few, like 5-6 years ago, when Kathy Garland was just starting to create the directory. Christina Keys and Elizabeth Miller asked to meet with Kathy Garland and I. And without really getting to know them other than the posts, pretty much, I'm so impressed by both of them. Christina just puts her heart out there, what she's lived through. Yes. And Elizabeth is currently living through. They really encourage me. I've been working on this. My husband's been involved for so many years. It's actually more than a dozen years of thought, dreaming, thinking, the money, the learning, the research, the concept. It's just evolved is the most positive way. It's been a really long time to get to where we are now. And the two people who have done all the IT work, because I don't, like you're saying, I don't have a clue about what's involved with the website. So after we got scammed and lost thousands and thousands of dollars that we really couldn't afford to lose at all, and just years of time and lots of money, and we just kept at it. And a few months ago, even with the move, and it takes a lot, there's a lot involved in planning a relocation. You know that. So a few months ago, 3 people close to me were very gently suggesting maybe it's time to walk away. And I said, no, it's not. It's time to think about what Elizabeth Miller has shared with me, and even what Christine, my mother passed away when I was very young, and Christina's mother, passed away recently. So our lives are very, very different. But it's still that desire to help other people. And I'm not walking away from this. And Elizabeth Miller said to me, well, it may have been in writing, but it was about maybe a year ago. She started looking for a full-time job. And that would have meant she would have had to walk away from what she'd been doing so beautifully. That really touched me. That I heard that. And I kept that in mind. And when to think about walking away, Elizabeth thought, you got to pay the bills. But at this point, I can't do that. I'm a full-time caregiver for my husband. I'm 71, he's 72. I have very limited time in my day and night, in my 24/7. I don't have much time that I can devote to any of the work involved in keeping up the website and the communication and the LinkedIn time. And I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn to get to this, really. I was responding to Elizabeth when I saw your post. And so very quickly, she's offering people to sponsor a podcast. And she just sent that out. I just happened to notice it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been on LinkedIn. So there's a reason for everything in life. I know that very well. So I'm thrilled to be here. I'm so glad it happened, and it happened really quickly.
Yes. And here we're already in a few minutes, and it's like, oh, I hope that you still feel like you've just invited me and now my husband onto your screen so that we could talk about what you love to talk about. You've mentioned that a small number of people felt compelled to say to you, maybe you're done. I am only imagining that they were thinking, maybe all that you're pouring into this should be reserved for you and your time with your husband, or with things you need to do, things you would like to do. I remember when, so my husband, Scott, was the only child of his mom, and she graciously allowed me to come into her family. This was her one kid, and we got married when he was only 22, and he had already been to high school, then he'd been to college, then he'd been in the Air Force. I just graduated and stopped college partway through, etc. And I said to her, as she was weakened by a condition, maybe not do so much. She loved doing her civic duties. She loved rescuing people, bridging a gap, filling a gap, making sure that people could get across a gap for whatever they needed, proper, they needed safety, they needed housing, they needed food, they needed representation if they had been pulled over, but the officer didn't speak the same language, just all of that. And she just, she was emotional anyway, but it brought tears to her eyes. And she was just like, there isn't anything I want to give up. I want to be doing all of this. And I don't want people to see me as as pitiful or as not able anymore. And I want all these things to be done, and I want to be involved in them. And I definitely was not telling her, I think you need less joy in your life. I definitely was not telling her what you do just isn't relevant anymore. None of that. None of that. Just, I wanted her to reserve some of that energy for herself. And I think she reduced a bit. I think she picked out some of her favorites, like, I look forward to that and I want to see those people again. And I love to hear how they're doing, maybe at the baby bank, maybe at the food bank, etc. And so I'm imagining that those people were thinking, you need time for you. And you're like, but this is me.
Yeah.
I help other people. I make sure they don't feel alone, that they're moving forward uninformed, that they don't, I make sure that they have some information, some solutions, some resources, support. And I'm thrilled that you and Lori are getting together. I totally admire her. She has got empathy and execution within her. It just blends. She gets it done, like execution, like executive. And at the same time, she's always at a family event, always cheering on a niece or nephew who's twirling a baton or something, just always wanting the right care to get to the right people, and also wanting, with her newest endeavor, to make sure that people don't go to a website going, this is what I need to help with Parkinson's, with dementia, with changing, giving my loved one as much independence in their, what you do for yourself. She wants all that to happen, and she doesn't want people to get to a website and go, there isn't anything here that tells me how I can get a hold of this. Or it says, we're sorry, but this website isn't working anymore. She wants that website. She wants the way that you get to her resources to actually bring people to the actual website, and the people keep up on it and go, oh, we need to get this stuff off there because we don't even use that anymore. That was years ago. So she wants things to be done very well for people who want to do the best they can for themselves or for a loved one. And I'm just like, who wouldn't champion that? So I'm thrilled that the two of you have now crossed paths. Just a week ago was the first time that you knew of Lori?
Yeah, I never heard of her before. I took a look at her site. What you're saying is what we just have been completing, updating and redesigning the homepage of Accredited Home Healthcare Directory. We've got, I believe it's called tiles for each of the caregivers that link directly to their site. So the tiles have a picture of the person and then link to the site. There's no words on the tiles, I think. Names, they have to have the names, but no description. And the group of people, and you probably know some of, Elizabeth Miller and Christine Keys are two of them. Yes. I think there's about 20 right now, and there's a few more that have to get put in. There's a few things that I wanted to say to all. I wanted to say this and this and this. Our directory, these are the words, exclusively lists accredited home care, home health care, and hospice organizations. They have to be located in the United States, and they have to be accredited by any one of the three most highly respected accrediting bodies, which are the Joint Commission, formerly known as JCAHO, the big hospital accreditor for over 100 years. Or CHAP. I'm familiar with CHAP because they rented space from the National League for Nursing, the NLN, when I worked there between 2000 and 2013. And the newest, because CHAP's about 100 years old as well. And I have other great stories I could tell you, but I'll go off in so many directions. I won't stay in one direction. The third accrediting body that we list is ACHC. And because they're the newest of the three, they're only about 40 years old, and they had a wonderful representative that was dedicated to, working with me when Kathy Garland created the directory.
Yes.
She was so wonderful to work with. And she left there about a year or two ago. So there are other people working with me now, and now things are really coming together, seriously coming together. August, this month, didn't go out today, but the August newsletter is featuring our directory. And they have been working on this for months. I'm so excited about it. But they sent me, they requested 75 words. And so I asked Kathy and I asked Jay, and then we all decided on the words together. The woman whose job it was to help work with me was pregnant with twins, her first babies. So she had to have those words before the end of June. So the day before her last day, we got her the words. And then she introduced me to a person who was replacing her position while she's on maternity leave. And I didn't feel comfortable I knew I wasn't getting the kind of customer service that I'd been used to from the original staff person. And now I know she was exemplary. You don't get a whole lot of them. I thought ACHC was so wonderful because she was so wonderful. And everyone working with her, it worked together. But this has been, especially today, I felt really uncomfortable this morning because the new person sent me the newsletter last Friday or Thursday. And she didn't say, this is for your approval. She said, here's the newsletter. So I looked at it and I didn't see anything wrong, but I proofread without thinking about it. Nothing popped out at me being wrong. But I didn't try the links because she didn't she didn't say this is for your approval. It was a done deal. It was a newsletter. We're at the end of it. So Friday, it must have been Thursday, because then Friday, my background at the National League for Nursing was operations. You click on everything. You make sure everything's working. Every phone number's, people pick it up and it's the right number. You don't skip any little detail. And I'm very detail oriented. So Friday, my brain kicked in and I was like, oh my God, click on the link. And there was something wrong. The words saying to click here for the form, which we put a lot of thought into, and Jay worked on the form, opened the site. So I sent an email to the new person and to someone I've met in between because I just had no faith in the new person. But sending an email on a Friday, you just don't know if they're even going to get it. And then I started during the night last night, I'm thinking they probably scheduled it to be sent first thing this morning, Monday morning, middle of the month. But I don't know. I actually don't know if it went out today or not. But once I got on the computer about 10:30, I had an email from that new person. She got my message. She said what I was concerned about was corrected, and it was highlighted. So I wrote back. I said, could I see it? Could you send me the link so I could see it? And I haven't gotten that response. And then I went on LinkedIn, and that's how I end up here with you now. So that's what's going on with me today. I'm offering in my 75 words This is going to owners, over 6,000 ACHC accredited owners of home care, home health care, and hospice in the United States. So I'm hoping, praying that if it's going to more than 6,000 people, I'm offering a free listing. Any one of them, some of them are already listed, or some of them are already listed, but they have additional locations. Click on the link to the form, I hope, fill out the form so I can get back to you, so I know who you are, and give me all, the fields that I need to put them into our master spreadsheet and get the listing created. And then what I'd like to do, and you're like the first to hear about this, there's a business called Profility. And I learned about it recently. The job that I had before the NLM, I was working for a startup of a managed care, Medicare, Medicaid insurance company. And the CFO from 30 years ago, LinkedIn posted recently that he retired. And we were friends, even though 30 years have gone by. I sent him congratulations on your retirement. He sent me a little thank you. And he sent me a lengthy explanation. In his retirement, he created a consulting firm. He's a CFO with an amazing background and a really nice guy. I know him well. So we got on the phone. He's helping people like me, you, increase the value of their business from a CFO's point of view, with a Harvard background and Americhoice, United, Cigna, Aetna career background. So 24 hours after our phone call, and this is all very recent, he sent me an AI-produced business plan from my business, taking it forward, what was suggested. And another of his, and for no money. I mean, this is just, I'm just going to do this for you because you need to increase the value of your business. We need to have a revenue stream. We've really never had a revenue stream. And we also need to be reaching the people who need to find high quality care, because that's the point. It's not about making money. It's about helping people find high quality home care, home health care, and hospice care near them, easily searchable, knowing that what they're finding is an accredited business, and they'll stand behind their staff if there's any issue. There's a business there. So also, we're adding a job board. So caregivers, whether they're nurses or family caregivers or CNEs, certified nurse assistant, CNAs that work in home care a lot. I know nurses much more. That's why I got stuck on that. CNAs are not the area that I've been involved with. At the National League for Nursing, I met thousands of nurses. And it's a membership organization for the deans, directors, and faculty of nursing schools in the United States for over 150 years.
Yeah. And Cindy, hang on just a moment. I want you to know who's listening to you. Alka is in Great Britain.
Oh.
And I will always remember that she got off work and had to drive in the dark. And she kept her phone pointed toward her, on her dash, so that we could see when she would arrive home. And once she got in the house, and it was, work traffic, and it took a long time, and she couldn't wait to tell us how things had gone today, and the blessings that came back and forth, and how things were handled in her realm of care. I'll just put it that way, in her residence and the people that she serves. And boy, I have seen her posting. She has been speaking here and engaged there and in a panel. And so she has much to share. I'm so glad that I got to have her on aspects of aging. And so she's saying good evening to you from
Good evening.
Great Britain.
Yeah.
And then Russ Hedge has also been, and she just put in another one. And Russ Hedge has just been saying hello because he knows both Scott and I.
And we had
Yeah.
a message back and forth. Russ was on the meeting that I caught last week.
Oh, okay. He was also in the what I call the chat column. He was a columnist. So good. I'm really glad that you got to know each other too. He's already friends with people before they know anything about him. So I'm really glad that he was part of that. There's another thing about Russ, and that is that he does 2 shows cooperatively hosting with my husband, Scott, who is actually staying on the screen today. Once in a while, he'll pop in for a moment, especially if there's a tech thing, or he just wants to say hi to someone. And my husband said, well, since things are different today, I can, I visited San Francisco and actually went to a home in the US to compare care. So I love that. I love that she came over here to see firsthand what's different, what's the same. There's probably pros and cons to just about everything that you do toward the end of providing proper care. And some of it you think that's a good idea, and then you realize, oh my, I'm actually taking their independence away. I'm actually causing decline because I'm hand patting and making sure that there's nothing around that they have to negotiate. And maybe it's better to do something that has some challenge to it and come alongside, rather than saying, let's just sit you down to make sure nothing happens to you. And having nothing happen to you can be very isolating and can cause you to lose muscle.
That's me as a caregiver. That's my style as a caregiver. And I've learned over the years.
Don't fall. And you've learned over the years
that nurses don't go that way. Nurses are tougher and have to be because they're seeing so many more patients than one particular husband home care person. And so, and they know what you're saying is absolutely true. Let people do as much as they can do for themselves. It builds confidence. The other way, my way, does not build confidence. It builds dependency. And that's just how we're married. That's just who we are. So I'm going to keep being me, and he's going to keep being him, and we're dependent on one another. So as long as we're just dependent on one another, we'll do the best we can. But I understand. It's sometimes as I'm doing something, I'm thinking a nurse would say, "Do this yourself."
Oh, very good. Very good. And it seems like, what? I kind of feel like being coddled today. And it's like, and you also are going to feel like, when am I getting out of here? And it's like, as soon as you can do these 3 tasks with no help, no help. So anyway, Scott, you had an idea of what you'd like to share, and I'm thrilled about it because I've known about it from down the hall or hanging around, because we are just a few steps away from each other right now here in Waco, Texas.
Yeah, here at the home global headquarters.
Global headquarters of
Us.
Of us, yes, of Aspects of Aging, new global headquarters in Waco, Texas. And I would love for you to share something that has to do with using your neurons, keeping your interest in life up, using both sides of your brain, some muscle tone, and a tone of a different type. And this would be for someone who isn't an expert or has some challenges or used to be an expert or is just learning. I just need you to talk about it and also to show what it is that
Mhm.
you have that would enrich the life of anyone at any age. But I always say it's more prevalent as you continue to age to need a clever device or a life hack to continue to have zest for your life. So, what is that about?
One of the things that you talk about on aspects of aging a lot are assistive devices, things that
Mhm.
that help people live their life the way they want to live, right? And as your friend Inez from Friends for Life always says, live their independently as possible, right? Live their
Mhm.
best life as independently as possible.
You got it.
And so one of those things is music, and we know that music has a lot of influence on our brain development, and emotions. And music, I say, God created music unlike anything else, because if I tell you a joke or tell you a story, but I'll tell you a joke, and then later that day I start to tell the same joke, even years later with my wife, she'll say, "Yeah, you need some new material," right? I've
I know
heard that
that
one.
one.
But when it comes to music, we can hear the same song multiple times a day,
Yeah.
and we still sing along with it every time, right?
It's life-saving. Music is
Exactly,
life-saving.
right? So
It's the reason I'm here today. Is it?
and so music, and it could be for me, if I'm playing, or it could be, in this case, we're talking like caregivers, right? Maybe you're a caregiver, and you play music or you sing for the people that you're in charge of, and that helps them. Um, we know that the memories of things that are emotional stay with us a long time. And
Mhm.
I don't know that we can really separate music from emotion, because that's where it hits us, right? It
Yep.
hits us at that point where it is emotion and we don't have the capacity for language. So for me, I started playing guitar when I was in third grade. So it's been a few years, since I started. We got our first guitar. I got my first guitar for $20 in Tijuana with my family, right?
Cool.
And so when you play, and I'll just back up a bit, right?
Mhm.
So you put your fingers on it, right? So that's how you play, which is great if you have um, finger dexterity, you have all of your digits and all that stuff. And so I was trying to teach my daughter how to play guitar. At the same time, in my job, I was going into the Shark Tank, if you will. I was going to pitch our business to angel investors. So I was going into, somebody in somebody's law offices, and the side door opens up to this conference room that's packed. They go, "Here's the clicker, there's the screen. You have 10 minutes, right? Stand and deliver." And at the same time, Shark Tank is a popular TV show. So I'm watching Shark Tank, and here comes in Travis Perry, and he says, "I've been a guitar teacher for a long time. People get frustrated. Most people quit." And he was trying to teach his daughter how to play guitar. And he had well, she was frustrated, and I learned to play. And he kind of mentions, he goes, he's got this magical gizmo that but he'd never built it. And so she says, "Well, Daddy, build one for me." And so that day, with uh, a pencil and some popsicle sticks and some rubber bands. They built something like this. This is the Chord Buddy, and we'll talk a little bit about it. But it just, you put it onto the guitar. So I'll just put this on here.
There is definitely a reason why I am here today.
Right. And so,
isn't it amazing? I didn't say, gee, I hope Cindy comes because my husband's going to play his guitar.
And show me
That never occurred to me, but that is resonating with you.
Oh,
and so now you can. And so you're just pushing a single button. And so this becomes, in the case of aspects of aging, this becomes an assistive device. Now, Travis created it as a way to teach people how to learn how to strum, build your finger strength, and use how to, and then eventually you would actually then pull these little tabs out, and then you would play with your fingers on the strings, and then work your way into not using it at all. But what we found was with Chord Buddy, we'd talk to people who they had arthritis, and they used to play guitar, but now they can't play. But you can play this way. There are people who play over the top. You can put this in your lap and push down and still strum. Whatever works. And many of the popular songs that we love to sing, you only need the 4 chords. And so what he did is he created this whole learning system. There's a tuner, and having played music for a long time, if your guitar is not in tune, it is not much fun to play. But with digital tuners, you put it on. When the light is green, the string's in tune. He's got this 2-month lesson plan book. And then there's 106 songs in this songbook that are color coordinated. So you can go everything from some of the classic songs like Shortening Bread to the Beatles' Let It Be, songs that and you can play them by just pushing the button.
How much does the whole thing cost? Because
so the whole thing is $250 to get a guitar, and this is a nice.
Well, not to get a guitar.
This is a very good guitar. I'm very happy with the way it plays. It sounds, it looks good. I added this in so we could hear it on the broadcast today. So they have a natural finish and a sunburst finish. The Chord Buddy, and this is made in Alabama. The songbooks are printed in Alabama. The guitars are made in Asia because but otherwise it's a U.S. product. So here's what happened. This was designed as a learning system because his daughter said, "Daddy, make one for me." And so then he made it. He went on Shark Tank and he won a deal with Robert Herjavec. And there's a whole thing. Christine has had other Shark Tank people on the site here on this program. And when you go on Shark Tank, it's on ABC. Everyone sees it. It's a huge
I've never
deal.
seen it. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
So people started looking at this and go, well, I have arthritis. I have neuropathy. I lost digits. And so what happens is the stories that start coming in. You have veterans who lost fingers or had nerve damage when they were in combat, and they came back, and maybe they had played guitar before, and now they couldn't. And with Chord Buddy, and so they're sending stories, and they're going, Travis, thank you. You brought music back into my life. Because now I can use that one finger and I can play music. there was stories like there was a man, and he was probably in his late 50s, early 60s. His dad played guitar
Mhm.
and had left him, part of his inheritance was his
Yeah.
father's guitar. And his dad had always wanted his son to learn how to play,
Mhm.
but he just didn't. And then one day he sees Chord Buddy, and he bought it and put it on his dad's guitar, pulled it out from under the bed, dusted it off, put
Mhm.
the Chord Buddy on it. And then he made a video and sent it to Travis and said, I know my father is looking down on me and smiling now
Right.
because I am playing his guitar.
Yeah.
And so for Chord Buddy, so for people that have limited dexterity, fingers or something, now they can play. Or maybe you're somebody like my wife who is a great singer and has led songs in groups with seniors. And again, there's something magical about music and how it affects the brains and the
Yeah.
emotions. And maybe you're a family member, and there's songs that you could sing with your loved one. In fact, Russ Hedge, that made comments on here, when his mother was in dementia, he would go, and actually the first podcast that he did was called Happy Moments with Mama.
Mhm.
And he would go and they would sing songs together, and her face would change so much. And so maybe you're a caregiver and you go, I've never played an instrument, I don't know how to do it, but I can push a button, I can sing the songs.
Right.
And here you have, hundreds of songs to be able to play. And so that's really, I'll just put this up here because people can go to thechordbuddy.com and you can get all the stuff there and you can learn more. But again, it's just music is made like nothing else.
Absolutely.
And that's this is what's important is people, they go to visit their loved one who's maybe in memory care or in assisted living. And, the weather, we talk about the weather. We talk about, oh, how's the work going? Work's fine. How are the grandkids? Grandkids are busy with program, but to be able to sit down and maybe to sing some song. What did you like to sing? And then come back and then actually play that song with them. You're going to have a deeper connection
Right.
and great
Forever.
moments.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I was happy to be able to come on today and just
I'm so glad you did.
share with people.
Can this be purchased without the guitar? Because I have my
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah. And so you can buy I think it's $34, $35, something like that, with just the Chord Buddy, and it'll fit most standard guitars. If your guitar has nylon strings, then you want to get the one that's designed for a classical guitar. And nylon strings, I always say, those are the ones that look like fishing line. Those strings look like fishing line. But if they're all metal, then you need and there's a left-handed version as well. People can get that. But if you have a guitar, it'll fit most guitars, including electric guitars. So people have those and they want to bother the neighbors, then they can plug that in and turn it up and just play away. But anyway.
I don't play an instrument. I don't have that ability. But
you do today. If you, I tell you, somewhere in the house or in your neighbor's house, there's a guitar.
Oh, there's a lot of guitars in my house.
All right. So I guarantee.
Let me tell you.
I guarantee, if you put the Chord Buddy on and you tune it up, you can do this.
This is not for me, though. This is wonderful. My husband and my son are just natural guitarists. My husband started a long time ago, like you did, but he started out playing the bass, and later in life added the guitar, and then he added a keyboard and drum machine.
I started with guitar and then picked up bass later because everyone played guitar at church, but no one played bass. And I said, "Oh, I can get a bass."
That's what happens. You need a bass player, so that's how we got with the bass. And it's so much a part of our life. Speaking with us, we talk to our son every Monday evening, and because we relocated, so that was the one, to say negative is putting it mildly, leaving our son in New York. But he calls every Monday, and that's it. No issues. It's just we talk. The guys talk, really. Sometimes they even fall asleep because it's so comforting. I get so calm. It's the calmest time in my 24/7 week. That they're just back and forth, helping each other, telling each other about guitarists. They are aware of some of the most amazing guitarists that most people, it's just so beyond. Eddie Van Halen is the guitarist. And a lot of guitarists who learned from Eddie that I've just become familiar with. It's just unbelievable what these people do. We just saw the story, documentary about Randy Rhoads yesterday. Amazing. I grew up through the same time in the same place as Eddie Van Halen. We're big fans of Van Halen. But there's other people, Joe Satriani and Eric Johnson, and there's quite a few that are unbelievable. Paul Gilbert. I actually have to go in a couple of minutes. I have a 2:00 meeting. But again, this is incredible because my husband said to someone, probably must have been to my son recently, that this music is like keeping him alive. This is how he gets to spend time in our home. But this is where we are 24/7. That's when he's just at peace with everything. It's the rest of it is frustrating and aggravating. When you're home all the time, the neighbors doing things could be annoying, and stuff in the house can be annoying. I guess I can be annoying. But sit down with music. He's in his own world, and he's got a couple of guitars, a couple of basses. He gave one bass to our son before we left because it was so heavy. When he bought it, he was young and strong, and he got back problems in his 30s, so it got difficult to stand up and play that bass. It was just too heavy. So before I go on, just real quickly, he created Living in Pain before we left New York. My son, first of all, we went out and picked up a non-expensive keyboard. And my son gave him a 4-track little recording thing. And he spent 2012 and 2013, he created 300 instrumental tunes on all these instruments, recorded on this little 4-track. And then my son has that thing on the computer. He mastered them and put them on CDs. So we have all of that music that he created. He'd never played the keyboard before. And almost all of them have the keyboard as usually the bass and the drums are the foundation, like he tells me. But they have the keyboard with a sound that he created. With the drum machine and the keyboard machine, you create sound. It's different than playing guitar. So music. Also, real quick, because when I go to look for the link for this 2:00 thing, I don't want to mess up. There's a woman who was written up in AARP magazine. Her name is Julian Johnson. I cut out the article. I contacted her. She's a neuroscientist in California, part of a group of people who are very talented, very smart, and in positions of careers where they can really help other people. She's helping with music somehow, and I couldn't even say more to explain this. but she will be added. Like I said, there's a few more people that have to be added to those healthcare heroes before we really feel like it's ready to go. I mean, it's live, it's available, and that newsletter is going to go out whenever it's going to go out. But over the next couple of weeks, we'll have more of these outstanding people in that group with links to their site. And there's a gentleman who's a musician, Gary Malcolm. I'd have to send you these names and links to these people's sites. They're outstanding. And they are doing what they do to help people who are requiring any level of care. There are people who are musicians that are just, they're entertainers and they play shows and they sell records or whatever. Also, there's so much on YouTube these days, which is wonderful. But if you have a way to go on YouTube, you can. So I'll send you later today. I'll send you a list of people, musicians that treat yourself. This Paul Gilbert, he was one of these long-haired, crazy, screaming entertainers, and I wasn't familiar with him from some band that I can't even think of the name right now. But Mr. Big, the band was Mr. Big in the 80s somewhere. Over the years, he got older. He created, it's called Werewolves of Portland. And one of them, there's a bunch of them that are called that, and there's different songs, but one of them, he's dressed with a costume on, with like a wolf head over his face, and a child. He and the child are dressed similarly. He's playing amazing music. You have to see it. I can't describe it. It's artistically and musically unique. You never saw or heard anything like this before, because he's an amazing guitarist, and they're like in a shadow, and there's the guitars and the two of them. Try to find it on YouTube, or I'll try to get the link and get you the link to the specific one. Werewolves of Portland with Paul Gilbert. But all of these, the music in my home, and my children grew up with so much music, live music. And once you have live music and you have friends playing music together, you have relationship issues. My kids were brought up getting to know our friends, and it changes life. The music changes life, and the friends that are involved with the music are life-changing. And even the performers that you hold close to your heart throughout your whole life, whoever that is to you. I know who it is for my husband. And it's another reason that we're in Michigan. The guitar player. Have you heard of Grand Funk Railroad? Did you ever hear that name? Grand Funk Railroad. It's a band that started out, they're just a little older than we are. They started out when they were teenagers, and we were just younger teenagers. Garage band from Flint, Michigan. And the rest is history. My husband knows everything they ever did, and the story of what they went through as a band. And my kids grew up with that stuff all our lives. When that stuff comes on the radio in the supermarket or wherever, it's in our hearts and in our minds. Yeah. And they're all still alive. They've gone through. I got to get on to that other meeting, but yeah, music in our life, and these people who, to meet this Julene Johnson, a neuroscientist. I don't think I ever met a neuroscientist. And I'm thinking, I'm writing this message to this person who's, she's not in my world. I'm not in her world. She was lovely. I'm getting ready to get in touch with her and Gary Malcolm, these people, because, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, and then I really got to go. There is a nurse who is so highly respected and regarded internationally, as much as Mother Teresa, without exaggerating. Mm-hmm. For more than 10 years, I asked for a formal introduction to meet Jean Watson. And now I can say that I am honored to have her friendship and be mentored by Dr. Jean Watson. She's the founder and creator of Watson Caring Science Institute. This, in one sentence, this is what she does, and no one else in the world does it. And she's been doing this for a really long time because she's 85 now. Her institute educates nurses. I'm not a nurse. I can't take her courses. She educates nurses to be the most compassionate nurse, period. That's how I started to say it. That's what they do. And the nurses who take her courses evolve into, they liked music, but now they're this higher level of nurse, and they are now creating things like Chord Buddy or creating art classes to teach people to paint because people think they're not artists, but she'll say everyone's an artist or everyone's a musician and everyone's a poet. These are the people that I want in this healthcare hero section for people to click and go to their links. Gary Malcolm, all these people. That's what I want. Now I really have to, I'm really sorry. I wish I didn't have to leave. But I'm so glad you said jump in here, and I'm glad I jumped. But I'm so concerned about getting on this other. I have never met these people before. They want to put a backlink. And when I saw resources that they listed, one of them was an author who wrote Motherless Daughters 30 years ago. I was a motherless daughter 30 years, longer than 50 some odd years. I lost my mother when I was young. I read her book as soon as it came out. It was written up in the local paper on Long Island, and I read that book on the Long Island Railroad, commuting into the city, crying through every page. And I hadn't seen the book. I passed it along to other people, and looking yesterday at the list of people who she's featuring and promoting as her resources. Hope Edelman, who wrote that book. The words just came out of my heart. I wrote to this woman who I'm going to be meeting if I get on this thing. So let me go.
I'm saying goodbye. Remember .directory. That's hardly ever printed on my screen. .directory. Home health care. People know about that after a stay at the hospital. Home health care .directory, but start with accredited. That's something you can trust in, something that's been vetted. Accredited home health care .directory. It's like, I need direction.
Yep.
Get it from Cindy Rogers.
Thank you very, very much. So nice to meet you. Wonderful hearing about Chord Buddy. I have to get it for my niece. That's a whole other story, but I gotta go. Take care.
Thank you. What a friend. Oh my goodness. So you are muted. And now
it was
you are back.
Nice to meet Cindy.
Yeah. And she talked about their years of marriage, and we got to go 41, which didn't sound very much
41
compared
coming
to
up,
hers.
In 10 days. No, 15 days, 14 days.
So, this month, that I'm going to try to keep track. I haven't gotten you a card yet.
Thechordbuddy.com. And people can look at, I misspoke. It's not 250, it's 350 for the guitar and
okay, you caught that. I was like,
yeah.
41 years of marriage. Don't correct him.
$34.95 for just the Chord Buddy if people have a guitar already. And a lot of people have them in the closet, under the bed somewhere. Somebody's got a guitar in many households. So reach out if they're uncertain as to whether it'll fit or not. But Chord Buddy, learn to play guitar right away. It's easy. You can start.
So that's the device itself. Just
$34.95 just for
with the colored dots. But
Yeah.
when you want everything, you want the books, you want the how-tos,
Yeah,
you want a
the digital
tuner,
tuner. I just
and you
recommend
can get a Perry guitar, which is Travis Perry, who won on Shark Tank. That is an even smaller fraternity of people who won on Shark Tank. And he's still going today. And I know Shark Tank people get together for reunions.
Mhm.
And I always hope that it includes the ones who came on. Yeah.
I'll turn it off before we hit an hour.
Oh, very good. Very good. Okay. And now. Goodbye.